Hey, this is Neil from Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons, and you're listening to Sonic Perspectives.
Music is medicine, music is therapy.
Hello everyone, it's Rodrigo here bringing you another interview for Sonic Perspectives. Our guest today is Neil Starr, the singer of Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons. Neil, thank you for joining us.
Oh, you're more than welcome. How are you?
Good, good. How are you? You're in London, right? Or
No, well, not too far. I live in a country called Wales, which is part of the UK, and I live near the capital, which is Cardiff.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah,
All right.
London's probably about a 2-hour train journey away. It's not too far.
Okay. I'm in Toronto anyway, so
Oh, cool.
yeah. But let's talk about the new album, We're the Bastards, which comes out on November 13. It's quite a step up from your debut, The Age of Absurdity, don't you think?
Well, I think it's a good album. I mean, I really love the first album too, but from my point of view, and I probably speak for the rest of the band too, you know, we just wanted to write another good album, and we've written what we believe to be a good album, and hopefully when people hear it, they'll agree.
I found it to be very uplifting, to be honest, very varied as well. I wonder if that was intentional or just how it came out. I mean, what's the writing process like for you guys?
We tend to just, I mean, to answer the question in short, it's not intentionally done. We kind of like to write music that we think sounds good, obviously, and if that happens to be a fast-hitting riff, then great. If it happens to be a slower, bluesier kind of riff, then good also. As long as they're good-sounding things, then we ultimately just want to make good-sounding music. We don't want to have to, feel restricted in writing a certain style of music or whatever, So, no, we've definitely found that there's a variation on the album, and we had a little bit of variation on the first album too. So I think people might be okay with it, on this release too.
Absolutely. And did you record it in person or remotely this time?
We did it so our guitarist Todd has got a studio, and he produced it this time. So we were lucky actually that was the setup, and that was always the plan, was to record it with Todd. But obviously the lockdown happened, and we were lucky that that didn't affect our plans really, because we were going to the studio that was local to us anyway, and we were able to record it as planned. It was different because we weren't able to all 5 of us be in the studio at the same time, which is obviously what would normally happen. So we recorded our parts, individually basically. So that was a bit different, but honestly, if that's the way it had to be, that's the way it had to be, and at least we still managed to be able to get the album recorded, So it wasn't an ideal situation, but I would take that all day rather than not release,
Yeah, no, I understand. And I wonder what it feels like to release an album in a time where you can't really present it live, or at least not, with people present. You can do it live, but, not without an audience. So not with an audience.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I think that's going to hit me and us a bit closer to the time, I think, because that's going to be a first experience for everyone. Even Phil, and obviously, he's seen and done most things throughout his career. So this will be a brand new experience for everybody. Just we'll be sitting at home while people are listening to it, which will be a brand new experience. I don't know. I think that's something that might sort of hit us a bit more at the time. At the moment, I'm still just excited to be releasing it and for people to hear it. And obviously, I find doing these interviews exciting because you guys have got to hear the album as well. So it's kind of like there's a small group of us now who know what it sounds like, which it always makes me excited,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got it yesterday. I did 2 solid listens. One of them was actually running, so it's a perfect album for a good run. So
you're not the first person to say that.
There you go.
Yeah, a few people have said they've listened to it while running and it was good. So that's cool.
Yeah. Tell me about the opening track, We're the Bastards, the title track. For me, that one was carefully crafted to be the opening song of a show, don't you think?
Yeah, it could well be. I mean, and there was another song on the album which, when I heard it, I thought, this is going to be the album opener for sure. And then We're the Bastards was kind of a very late addition. There was 2 songs that came, really near the end. There was that song and a song called Destroyed, which were really last minute submissions, and once we'd recorded with the Bastards, then, you know, we kind of felt the same as you said then, you know, that was the opener. It was no contest. And, you know, for us, it's a song that's about, you know, camaraderie and brotherhood, which obviously our band is a lot about that, having three brothers in the band. But like, yeah, that whole feeling of everyone being together, us and the fans. And I'm really excited for fans to hear that song, because I think it's going to be something that is going to bring us all even closer together, you know, us and the fans. So yeah, that's definitely what I'm going to look forward to playing live. I think it's going to be a really good sing-along, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. There are moments on the album where you guys touch on Motorhead a little bit, like on Animals and Son of a Gun, for example. To a Motorhead fan like me, that's as close as it gets, and it's a great feeling to see Phil, his voice, and you carrying the torch. So thank you for that. Do you feel that way, that you sort of carrying the torch a little bit of Motorhead, or?
Personally, I don't feel any kind of pressure for that. I mean, what I love about it is that I'm like you, where, you know, Phil will make a riff, and I just think, well, yeah, that does sound like Motorhead. But then obviously he wrote loads of riffs for Motorhead, so he's gonna write riffs now that sound like Motorhead, obviously, because he wrote the Motorhead riffs. So I think it's really cool that he still has a passion to make music, and that, you know, obviously gives the opportunity for people like yourselves to still hear riffs coming out of him. And, you know, it's exciting for me to be a part of that, you know, because obviously if Lemmy hadn't passed away, then some of these riffs may have been Motorhead riffs, you know, who knows? Like,
yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, you're right, it's a closest it's going to get, unfortunately, because of what happened. But, you know, it's for me, I don't feel like a pressure or anything that we're carrying that flag over. I guess we kind of look at it as a completely different band, but, you know, obviously we always have respect for Motorhead. I mean, we're not the only band to have respect for Motorhead. They're one of the most respected bands of all time. They've achieved so many amazing things and wrote so many amazing songs and influenced so many people. So, you know, for me, it's just an honor to be able to add my stamp to the riffs that Phil and his sons come up with, you know. And it's exciting. You know, I get a unique position of like hearing these riffs before anyone else in the world, and like sometimes I have to pinch myself that I'm lucky enough to be the one who has to write melodies and words over these kick-ass riffs, you know. I think Animals was maybe the song we thought might have opened the album at first, you know, before Where the Bastards came along. So it's quite a fast one, I think. A bit like Son of a Gun, that kind of vibe. You're right.
Yeah. At the same time, one thing I liked about the album is that it's not like pedal to the metal all the time. You do have a few moments to cool off, like Desert Song and Waves, for example. And your singing style changes too, depending on the mood, right?
Yeah, I think, you know, obviously, like, you know, Phil and all of us, we don't just listen to a certain type of music. We all have different influences, and Phil loves the blues, and, you know, I think that's one of the nice things that this band has offered him as well, is like the opportunity to be able to not necessarily be looking down a certain style all the time. You know, he can write and expand on those kind of ideas he has too, you know, which is nice. And yeah, for me personally, I like to have a little bit of variation on the album. You know, I think I'm quite a romantic for albums. I think, you know, obviously with this digital age, some people think the age of the album is going to disappear, but for me, I love that whole album package, you know, and I think to have variation is important to fill different moods and to sometimes have a bit of a breather in the album somewhere. And Waves as a closing track was kind of not too dissimilar to the way we closed the last album, really, I think. You know, a slower tempo song and just a different side to the band, really.
Yeah. Another thing I appreciate in the songwriting of this album is that the choruses are great, and they're not just the song titles repeated over and over again, like we see in so many bands, right? I guess you, as the one who will be there belting those songs on stage, have something to do with this, right?
Yeah, I'm lucky that I get to have freedom to do what I want with all the words and all the choruses and melodies and things. So, Where the Bastards, though, the chorus of that one, I actually didn't write. Todd wrote the music to that song, and as he was writing the music, he had the idea for the chorus. So that was one of those songs where I just had to write the verse for that one, because the chorus is already great, and I loved where he was going with the lyrics, and we just spoke to each other and discussed how we wanted me to carry on the lyrics for the verses and things. So that was a little bit different. But yeah, ordinarily I would just be coming up with whatever I'm feeling at that time, and it's largely influenced by the music of the song, really. I've never been the kind of person that writes loads and loads of words down and then goes back to them. I kind of listen to music and write melodies and words once I've heard the song. I know different people do it in different ways, but for me, I hear the song, and like if it fires me up, then the lyrical content normally is a bit more fired up as well, And then if the song's a bit more relaxed, then maybe a bit more of a sentimental kind of meaning to the lyrics, or whatever. I kind of use the music to judge my mood and to take me where I think it needs to go.
Gotcha. Yeah. Can you comment also on the mix of the album? To me, it's a perfect balance between distortion and that grit that you require for a rock and roll band, and clarity as well. Immediately after listening to it, I thought of Appetite for Destruction, for example, another album that carries that similar sort of mix and with the grit as well. So,
well, it's good that you've thought that, because I guess that was a little bit harder for us to achieve in the current situation, because we couldn't just perform and record it in a more live setting. We had to do it, like I said earlier, we had to do it as individuals. And I know that was important for us as a band to try and record the songs in a way that they're going to get played live at the end of the day, which would always be a little bit more, not so completely overproduced. Where obviously it's easy to fall down that road as well when you're in the studio, because you can get carried away with all the wonderful technologies and things you can take advantage of. But like, we want to be able to play these songs live, and for people to hear them live and hopefully think they sound even better live than they do on the album, not for people to come and see us live and think, oh, I sounded better on the album. That would be the worst. That would be the worst feedback I could ever think of receiving as a musician. So no, I agree with you. I think it's a great mix. Todd produced the album and recorded it, and then we had it mixed by a guy called Soren, who also mixed the solo album that Phil did in between our first album and this album. Phil did a solo album.
Yeah.
And he mixed that album too.
Soren is from Denmark, I believe. He's a genius. He's worked on so many albums so far. Yeah.
Yeah, he does a great job.
Yeah.
Really nice guy too.
Yeah. And, the band is definitely growing in stature, I think. You went from playing a cover set to having your own material, and now there's 2 albums to draw material from. I think it's safe to say that it started as a fun project for Phil to play with his sons, and now it's getting a little bit more serious than you guys expected, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, fortunately, we're trying to still keep that, like, the mentality of it just being a fun project, because at the end of the day, it's, bands, they are businesses, I suppose, at the end of the day, and you've got to look at it that way. But we're trying just to make it and keep it with that sort of enthusiasm and fun that we had at the start, because that's what we all enjoyed. That's why we all did it. Like you mentioned, Phil gets to play shows all around the world with his sons, which must be. I'm a dad myself. That must be like a dream come true to have the opportunity to do that. It's so unique.
Oh yeah.
And,
yeah.
Yeah, it's important for us just to keep hold of the reason why we started it, and to fundamentally, write music and record music and play music because it's fun.
Yeah.
Once you lose that fun, it can't be a nice place to be then. If you feel like you have to get on stage, that must be a real terrible feeling. One I hope I never feel. But
experience. Yeah. And I work for smaller companies which are run as a family business, and I found it challenging, to be honest. What's it like for you to work in a band where everyone is part of the same family but you?
I wish I had a cool story to tell you, but no, honestly, it's no problem. We're all very close anyway, and I guess everybody knows each other really well, and so well that they know when things are getting taken too far. And I guess one good thing I have is if there is a family dispute, I haven't got to get involved. I can leave them to it. So they're few and far between, so luckily it's not an issue. But it's kind of
Okay.
cool. I mean, the way we do the band is kind of unique as well. That we self-manage the band, so we all kind of take a little responsibility for certain areas, and that keeps it very close knit as well, along the family lines as well. So it's it seems to be working for us, and hopefully it'll continue to be a fun thing to be involved in, because it is so much fun. And like you said, we're seeing with every kind of festival we do and with every song we release, like more and more people getting on board with it, and we get some amazing feedback from people about us when they see us live, and it's great. It's the only motivation you need, really, I think, is to hear positive words from people when they hear your music or see your band live, and keeps you ticking over and motivated to keep on going, definitely.
Right. And how did you get this gig with Phil and his sons? Did you know them before, or did you audition for it? What was it like?
But basically, no, it wasn't an audition. It was Todd, the guitarist, was having a birthday party, basically, and it's just obviously some of his family were there and his closest friends, and he'd arranged for a live band to play, because obviously, very musical family, musical friends. And he'd arranged with that live band that him and his dad and brothers could jam for like 15, 20 minutes in the middle of the night,
Mm-hmm.
And he asked me in advance if I would be up for singing a few songs during that jam session kind of thing. And, I played in a band with Todd at the time, a different band. So, we'd already been doing stuff together. And I knew his other two brothers really well, because they were also in other bands in the local area that we'd played with loads of times, So, yeah, we just got up and sang a few songs. I think we did like Come Together by the Beatles, and maybe Superstition by Stevie Wonder, and a few others.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't like your typical rock songs we were doing. It was a bit more of a party jam kind of atmosphere, It was cool. But pretty much after that, Phil said he enjoyed doing it. We all said we enjoyed doing it, and obviously we knew at the time Phil was in Motorhead, so it wasn't going to be a busy thing and a serious commitment needed or anything. But he kind of said, as and when he has a little bit of time free with Motorhead, maybe we could squeeze a few shows in here and there, just doing some Motorhead songs and some of his favorite covers, like we did some Led Zeppelin and some Black Sabbath and that kind of stuff. And we just did that for a few years, and we didn't play that many shows, But when we did, it was always good fun. And I guess the turning point for us was when Lemmy sadly passed away, and Phil decided after taking some time out that he did want to continue in music, So at that point, we decided we would write some of our own songs and kind of take it down a different route to what we've been doing previously. And I guess it's probably about 4 or 5 years ago now.
I see.
Maybe longer.
Well, I'm glad that things are taking off, man.
Thank you, man.
Last question for me. You have a very ambitious headlining tour booked for 2021. What's the expectation for it now, and how do you plan to rehearse for that?
Well, the expectations will be huge, because, we're all going to be bursting with energy, and hopefully crowds are going to be bursting with enthusiasm to get back out and see live music as well. I think I can imagine it'll be like a big celebration, really, when people can get back out and watch live music again, and we can play live music again. It's going to be like a big euphoria moment,
Oh yeah, for sure.
We all took for granted these things we had, and none of us ever expected they would be taken away. And I guess it gives you a whole new reality on things. And just to play a show again, that would be amazing. And we'll rehearse as we normally do, which is, we're not too intense in rehearsal, to be honest. We get together not too long before the tours, and we jam and just have a good time. We don't ever want it to feel like it's hard work or work even. We just want it to feel like we're just having a jam and playing music. So I guess when we can get back to all being in the same room, then we will, and we'll start doing it again, because we haven't been able to do that for this entire 2020 yet.
Oh yeah. Fingers crossed that things are going to get resolved, and I hope to see you on the road soon, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we've never been to. You said you're in Canada, right?
Well, not since I moved here.
Where did you move from?
From Brazil. That's where I'm
Oh,
originally
awesome.
from. Yeah.
So you must have seen Motorhead a few times.
Yeah, I saw them like so many times there, opening for Mating, headlining shows, so many times, man. Yeah, good memories.
Amazing.
Good memories.
We
Yeah.
actually had some plans to go to South America, but they've been obviously
Yeah.
cancelled for now. They never even got announced, but we're trying to do it, and hopefully we'll get to Canada at some point. And if we do, it'd be great to meet you and see you at the show.
Yeah, we'll arrange that for sure.
Awesome.
Neil, thank you so much for your time. All the best with the new release, We Are the Bastards.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, and thanks for your time as well. Have
Thank
a great
you.
weekend.
You too. Take care. Bye.
Bye, man. Bye.
Okay, everyone. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this interview with Neil Starr. You can listen to it also on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Also, please follow us on Twitter and Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to finish with the song Son of a Gun from the most recent album of Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons, We Are the Bastards. Take care and rock on.